My maiden voyage. Literally. My first tour as an official boat captain. So, I'm going to get some boring talk out of the way first. For your safety, please remain seated. Anything that can be outside of the boat, please keep inside of the boat. Namely, elbows and whatnot. We will be going through some lower bridges and some narrow passageways. And we don't allow smoking or vaping. And if you should find yourself in the river, I hope that doesn't happen, but if you should, we do have life vests here on either side of me. My recommendation would be to just splash around a little bit, get some attention, and then stand up and walk out. About 4 feet. I think all of you can manage that. So, as I said, my name is Laura. I'm your captain. This is about a 2-mile journey. It should take about 35 minutes or so, give or take. First point of interest over here is this green structure on my right. That is the world's largest margarita machine. Lies. Let's start out with a big lie. But wouldn't that be amazing? Just bring your own straw. This area over here on my left is La Vita, Little Village. And it was San Antonio's first neighborhood, established in 1722. I don't know if you've had a chance to get over there, but it's really charming. All these little cottages now are shops and galleries and restaurants, locally owned. I recommend you go in there and spend some time.
That hotel before we leave it.
But you have a bird up there?
That's the Hilton, right?
Oh, that's the Hilton. Yeah, I'll tell you all a little bit about that as we come in.
I won't spoil it.
Come in, dock, yeah. But right now, I'm going to bring your attention to this theater that we are in, the Arneson Theater. Over to my left, you can push your tush on that grass seating there. There's about 799 other folks. And then over here on my right, obviously, is the stage. And if you've ever seen Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, yeah, that's the stage that the swimsuit competition took place on. She and William Shatner. To be clear, William Shatner was not wearing a bathing suit. Thank God for all of us. And this was added in 1941. So we're going under Rosita's Bridge, named after Rosita Fernandez, San Antonio's first lady of song, and she was given that title by another first lady, Lady Bird Johnson. Not bad, huh? It is rumored that in 25 years, she never missed a show. That is commitment and a lot of testosterone. Well, we're in San Antonio, Texas, in case y'all didn't know. And we're better to take in some Western art. I highly recommend heading into the Briscoe Western Art Museum. All sorts of great things to see in there. It became that museum in 2013. This bronze statue here on my right represents the first cattle drive and the first cowboys, vaqueros. The building was originally built in 1930. It was a library, and then in 1968 became a circus museum, which is fun. Unless you're terrified of clowns, and then it's a nightmare. I know what to think. They have Pancho Diaz, Last Saddle, General Santa Anna's ceremonial sword. Pretty cool. Old relics in there. I will be stopping from time to time, just so y'all know, and the reason is we don't want to play bumper boats, especially on my first day, so that's the reason for this. Alright, we are in there. Now this is one of the examples of those low bridges, so please mind your phalanges, aka fingers, and your heads. Does anyone know who our new San Antonio spur is? Victor Wembanyama? Have y'all heard of him? He's a 19-year-old player from France, and he's 7 feet 4 inches. So when Victor comes and takes my tour, and I really hope he does, he'll have to lie down for this part. This bridge was built in Berlin and was brought over on land in pieces and put together. And I'm going to let y'all chew on that for a second before I tell you it was built in Berlin, Connecticut. We're going to pass Marriage Island here on my right, where this white duck is standing. that sculpture is called Father Massenet's Table, and it represents, celebrates the 300th anniversary of the first Catholic Mass that took place right here by none other than Father Massenet. That sculpture was done by a local artist and put there in 1991. The island is shaped like a heart by those cypress roots, and it's called Marriage Island because it's shaped like a heart, and about 300 marriages take place there a year. The stretch that we are coming into now is called Old Mills Crossing. So in the 1800s, this is where people would cross to the mill to have their grain ground because it's shallow and the riverbed is hard packed, so they could get their carriages across and water their horses and whatnot. Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders crossed this area quite often. He spent a lot of time in San Antonio recruiting in the 1890s. I'm going to bring your attention to this up. You already got it. He beat me. This camera. Yep. Up to my left, this tall building. That is the Tower Life building. And on the very top, you will maybe see some gargoyles hanging over there. Yep. And then as we pass on above the first level, you'll see some precarious-looking faces. Those are called grotesques, and both the gargoyles and grotesques were put on this building because the owners were very superstitious, and those two things are meant to guard the building, keep evil spirits and bad luck, bad business away. However, they did not do their job well, as the building was built in 1929, and if you remember from your history classes, that was a rough year because the stock market crashed. So they built that building for a whopping $3 million, which back in that day was a lot of money, and they had to sell it for 10 cents on the dollar for $300,000. They skipped town. Ouch. That building in front of us, that beautiful orange building, is the Bexar County Courthouse, built in 1897, the oldest and the largest courthouse in Texas, built of native red sandstone and granite. To the right is the International Center, and that is where the trade centers of Canada and Mexico are. And then you can see where the magic happens under there in one of our marinas. And honk my horn real quick. And if you look back behind me, that Tower Life building, some say that they see a very large ship. Now I'm going to hook a right. If I were to hook a left, we would drop over a floodgate that's about a 15-foot drop. And this is not the Jungle Cruise, and I am not the Rock. And be going to the right. And yes, if we kept going that way, we would be in the Gulf of Mexico. So I didn't really lie to you when I said I could drop you off in Mexico. Now this is a flood channel, and this was built. We had a devastating flood in 1921 come through here. About 50 people lost their lives. There was millions of dollars of damage done to property. The flood waters rose up to 9 feet over street level. And so Robert H.H. Hudman, who we call the father of the Riverwalk, devised these plans so that we could be here right now, safely, with the sidewalks and restaurants and hotels. And I'll tell you more about that later. We're going to come up under the bridge, and on the right is the Drury Plaza, which was established in 2007. Before that, in 1929, it was the Alamo National Bank. And if you are into architecture, I highly recommend you walk into that building. They have preserved a lot of it. It's gorgeous. And if you walk down one flight of stairs, you will see the original vault. And then on my left, you walk up those stairs, you'll be in Main Plaza. And you'll notice a church back there, tucked back over the trees. That is the San Fernando Cathedral, established in 1731 by Canary Island settlers. It is the oldest continuously operating Catholic cathedral in the country. And it does have a marble sarcophagus in it, which holds remains of the heroes who perished in the Battle of the Alamo. Now, if I were to go straight here, another 2 miles, we'd end up at the Pearl. Have any of you been to the Pearl yet? Oh, y'all, you gotta get there. Really cool. Feels like a little Europe. Lots of shops and restaurants and whatnot. And we actually have a shuttle that will start up again after the holidays. And you can buy a pass, an all-day pass, and ride that shuttle just like a bus, all the way around the river, hopping on and off. A nice way to avoid parking and traffic up on the street. The tree in front of us is the largest and oldest. They estimate it being anywhere from 200 to 300 years old. And it is called the Ben Milam tree because back in 1835, a patriot named, guess who? Guess what his name was? Yeah, that's Ben Milam. Unfortunately, he was struck down by a Mexican sniper who had stationed up in that tree. So it is dedicated to him. So part of the flood control, I mentioned the floodgate way behind us. We turned. This is another one that works like a garage door. So if you look up as we pass under it, it just rolls down when we get a huge deluge. Huge deluge. I like that. I think I'll continue saying that one. To protect us from another potential flood. There's a lot to see down here, so I'm not sure if you've noticed that we have a bar or two. Yeah. Well, this bar coming up on my right, this little building here, is the oldest bar on the Riverwalk. And in 1933, when Prohibition ended, they opened with a fully stocked bar. They were ready to roll. There was a speakeasy downstairs, cool joint. Back during Prohibition, downstairs was a, quote, barber shop. You went in for a cut, came out with a buzz. Longest with bar in Texas. You like that one? I got the thumbs up. I'll keep it. Over on my left is the Drury Inn, and it became the Drury Inn in 1998. But it was built to be the CPS, where we pay our energy bills, and it was built in 1921. Coming up on the Aztec Theater, this is another one of our stops. Historic theater, a great example of the lavish movie houses built in the 1920s. Started with silent films, moved on to black and white talkies. Got a huge chandelier in the middle of it. You look up to the top balcony, you'll see a statue of an Aztec. That one was built in 1926. Okay. My new fellow captains. We are family. Up ahead on in the river, that bridge is the Hugman Bridge. I mentioned Robert H.H. Hugman, the architect of the Riverwalk. However, nowadays we affectionately refer to it as Selena's Bridge. Anybody know who Selena is? The late great Tejano singer born in Corpus Christi, one of our own. Well, J-Lo filmed a scene from the movie Selena right on that bridge. Hence, Selena Bridge.
That one there?
On my right, this building here is a luxury hotel.
Yeah, but she's in San Antonio.
And that was
She's sitting on top.
2003. But we're going to go back in time to 1901. It was the L. Frank Saddlery, and it provided saddles to many a famous rider, including Teddy Roosevelt, other American presidents, movie stars. I like to think perhaps John Wayne sat atop a saddle made there at the L. Frank Saddlery. No bigger movie star than his son. His real name was Francis. I used to work at Universal Studios John Wayne, I'm going to say superior cowboy name. Yes, lovely building. To my left is another luxury hotel called the Montreal Del Rio, the mansion on the river. Became that in 1968 for the World's Fair. I'll tell you a little bit more about that fair later, but it in 1953 was built, and back then it was St. Mary's School for Boys. We now have a St. Mary's College in another part of the town. Right, we have an optical illusion coming up. On 3, I would like y'all to look over to my left. Watch out!
Look.
Freestanding wall. It is not a freestanding wall. There are a couple others attached to that building. It's built in the shape of a triangle, hence that optical illusion on this side. It was a hospital built in 1930, the first hospital in the country to have air conditioning. Man, that's rough. You're ill in a hospital and you don't have air in Texas, right? One of my favorite comedians was born there, Carol Burnett, fellow Texan. Pull your hair from her grandma, say hello. Speaking of hotels, we've got another one right in front of us. The Hyatt Regency, built in 1981. Now this hotel has 16 floors. It's a little shorter than some of the more modern hotels on the Riverwalk. The reason being that the Alamo is right behind it. So this is a great shortcut from the Riverwalk to the Alamo. You walk through that beautiful lobby. There is a law stating that no man-made structure can cast a shadow on the Alamo for respect to honor the fallen heroes. They did a lot of shadow
That's where it came down
casting,
through.
and that's the building they came up with.
We came through here.
The lobby is sort of a mock-up of the Riverwalk. There's a gorgeous water feature in there with a bridge, some shops, a restaurant. An example of Art Deco architecture is over here on my right. Yep, you found it. You must be an established photographer. You're good. Yeah, that top of that building really exemplifies that type of architecture. This building was built in 1927. It's called the Casino Club building. Sir, put your money away. It's not. I saw you reach for it. I saw you. Does she know you have a problem? Not going to Vegas with this guy. Yeah, not a casino. It was built to be a social club for German immigrants, as I said, 1927. However, it's an apartment complex today, so if you feel like living down on the Riverwalk is something you would like to do, go for it. But get your name in now, because you could be waiting about 10, 12 years to get in there. One of the famous residents who lived in there was the author Alex Haley of Roots, the book Roots, which later became a miniseries. And we have entered Restaurant Row. First person to guess why we call it that gets to remain on the cruise. What you think? Yeah, there are a few restaurants here. Pick from several at which to dine. And if you want to have a really unique dining experience, you can rent one of our boats and have a private dining experience. Yeah, talk to our management, give them about 2 to 3 weeks notice, get with the manager here at any of the restaurants, set up a menu. People are renting out boats right now for Christmas, for yearly cruises. I'm going to slow down right here, bring your attention to this building on my right, where the bust of this man is. That is Robert H. Hudson. You'll notice his name on the building. So in 1941, his flood control plan finally came to fruition, and he put his offices into that building, Clifford Building, in 1941 to prove to other business owners that it was safe to do so. It was safe to have a business here on river level. And the first business to take him up on that challenge is here on my right, Paseo. moved in 1946. They're still thriving. Same family owns it. They were mavericks. They were the first to introduce riverside dining as well as river boating. We had gondolas on this river back then. One of our nicknames is the Little Venice of Clinton. Mariachis stroll up and down here, get serenaded as you dine. May be able to get a peek over on my right over on my left of a statue, a red statue. That is called the Torch of Friendship from Mexico, and it signifies the relationship between the U.S. and Mexico. Built by a famous artist named Sebastian. You know someone's famous if they go by one name. That landed here in 2002. Pedal to the metal right here, y'all. We're gonna go a whopping 5 miles per hour. Sorry we don't offer you seatbelts. Get whiplash. So who thinks the Riverwalk is a man-made river? Show of hands. No? Okay, there you go. And so the rest of you think it's a natural river. You are all correct. You all passed that test. The part of the river we just left is natural. The part of the river we're in now is man-made. This extension was added in 1968 for the World's Fair to taxi people to and from locations. Again, more convenient than going up on the street and getting in your car and trying to find parking, because about 6 million people descended onto our city back in 1968 for that fair. Yeah, that's a good photo opportunity. She would look pretty standing in front of that butterfly. There's a mural on that wall in this past huge purple butterfly. The Marriott Riverwalk, right in front of us, which was built in 1988, and there, had a little snafu when they decided on that location, because there was another hotel there. The giant helicopter? I'm not sure. Giant robot? Yeah, so the Marriott Hotel stands where the old Fairmont Hotel was. Fairmont was built in 1906, making it a historic building, therefore not allowed to be torn down. So the fix to that predicament was to move it. They moved an entire hotel a few blocks away. It holds the Guinness Book of World Records for being the largest building to be moved on pneumatic air tires through city streets. Yep, you can stay there today. I hear the foundation is pretty sound. And the statue in front of us is called the Stargazer from Mexico. It is volcanic rock, pieces of volcanic rock. And when asked, the artist said it is open to interpretation as to what she is gazing at. Who knows? Gazing at the stars, gazing at the future. She is called the Stargazer, so I imagine she's gazing at me, but you know, that's my interpretation.
Say hi. Leave.
This is another one of our stops, our biggest one, and where our shop is. So you can take away something to remember your time here on the Riverwalk, the most visited destination in Texas. The second one is the Alamo. The best thing you can take away from that shop is our mall contains about 1 million square feet of shopping. So, shop till you drop, y'all. And I do recommend you dropping in to see the short 40-minute film, Alamo, The Price of Freedom, showing at the IMAX. It shows every single day. And it's a really accessible, entertaining way to learn about that battle. So Santa will descend upon this island on Monday. In Texas, we don't leave Santa cookies. We leave Santa tacos. Yes, we have dinosaurs in there. Yeah, we have a dinosaur experience, we have a Legoland, we have a sea life experience, a ropes course. Yeah, this is a big maneuver during training. Can you get around the island? Turns out I can. I know when I got this job, I was like, it's going to be so easy. I've been a tour guide before. I mean, the boat, how hard can that be? It's hard. My family are fishermen. I reprimanded my father and brother for not having taught me how to actually boat. Been on boats my whole life, but what you got over there? Sugar? Oh yeah. All that. Sugar. So if y'all notice, our boats are different colors and different patterns. They are designed in the folk art fashion of Papal Picado. And those are the paper flags with the cutouts that you see around. You'll see several of them at establishments down here that now that you know what they are. And these two boats, ours and that one, are the sun boat to represent the 300 days about of sun we get here in San Antonio. Which is great unless it's August. Right? We have a rough one this year. Over here on the left is the dove boat representing peace. As best we know, we were the first city to grant a peace grant. We have a military boat. Are any of you military? Well, we do, and there is a bald eagle on it. We are called Military City. Oh, you had said you were military, sir. We are called Military City. Very much appreciate them. I'll do a little stop here and let y'all look over to the statue on my right. Kind of past it there. Yeah, St. Anthony de Padua. That was a gift from Portugal back in 1968 for the World's Fair. St. Anthony is the saint of lost things, so please keep that camera inside the boat. Yeah, speaking of lost things, we do have plenty of cell phones in here. Every year, there are about 500 cell phones, give or take. Yeah. That fall victim to this river. We're about to dredge the flood channel that we were in earlier in January, and I've been told all sorts of things are found in this river. Chairs, silverware, engagement rings, scooters, purses. This boat we're passing has missions. Oh no, this is our military boat. Yeah, I told you about that one. But we do have a boat that honors our 5 missions, the Alamo being the most famous, obviously. And we have a boat with the number 300 on it. That represents our tricentennial that we celebrated in 2000. Beyond this tree on my right, through there, is St. Joseph's Catholic Church, built in 1868 for German immigrants, so they could worship in their native language, Deutsch. We are the second oldest city in Texas. Does anybody know? I'm sorry, in the country. Second oldest in the country. Does anybody know what the first one is?
Dallas?
St. Augustine, Florida. We'll get another good shot of the torch of friendship here as we pass under this bridge. I'll slow down. Yeah, that's the butterfly. I think it's less obstructed up here. And I haven't gotten to the point where I actually look around, looking for y'all. They're looking at point, but right now, straight ahead. Is that a good view of the torch? No, not so much. Good to know. Oh, yes, good. All right. I like lighted people. Y'all are my test subjects. And you mentioned the Hilton Palacio del Rio. Yes, we are coming upon it now. The first four floors were built traditionally. All of the rooms above it were built off-site, about 8 miles away, individually, prefabricated, everything in them, soap in the soap dishes, plumbing, electrical, linen, stacked on top of each other. We're coming to the end here. Thank you all so much for trusting me. Thank you so much for joining me. I do have to remind you, for your safety, to please remain seated. I will give you the go-ahead for when to depart. Check around, make sure you have everything. You can leave the camera though.